Hi everyone, welcome back to another video with me. In this lesson, in this video, we're gonna go through a news article, a health related news article. So this is an advanced lesson and you're gonna learn lots of vocabularies, grammar structures, phrases, and collocations. Don't worry about taking notes. You can download a free PDF of this whole lesson in the link in the description below. This is not just a vocabulary lesson. As you're familiar with my news lessons, this lesson also helps you to improve your listening and pronunciation skills. How? For the first part of the video, I'm gonna read each paragraph with a slow pace, and then I'll break down the paragraph, the vocabularies, the grammar notes used in the paragraph for you. And then for the second part of the video, I'll go through the whole text with a natural pace so you can become familiar with natural intonation and pronunciation of reading this news article. Let's start the article. I don't have diabetes, but I wore a glucose monitor for 6 weeks. Here's what I learned about food and anxiety. One day in September, I stood in front of my open refrigerator, ravenous but unable to figure out what I should eat. I was worried that whatever I chose to eat would cause the new app on my phone to record a spike in my glucose levels that would count against the number I was allowed that day. And I was determined to conquer this algorithm. So the very first thing we're going to focus on this paragraph is the prepositions of time. We have different prepositions of time like at, in, on. And here we have in September. Let's see what are the other uses of in. We use the preposition in for different parts of the day, like in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. We use in for months of the year, like in September, in July, in February. Then we use in for seasons as well, like in winter, in summer. For years, centuries, and decades, we also use this preposition, like in 2025, in the 21st century, in the 80s. Before jumping into the vocabulary part, I'm gonna just go through a quick grammar note here. Look at the use of but here. I was ravenous, but unable to figure out what I should eat. So the use of but here shows a contrast between ravenous or being hungry and unable to decide what to eat. We use the word but when we want to connect two different or two opposing ideas. I wanted to work late, but I was very tired. I wanted to study English, but I had no confidence. So now let's get to the vocabulary part. Ravenous. The first word is ravenous, and the stress is on the first syllable. Ravenous. And ravenous means extremely hungry, or you can say starving, famished. After a long hike, I felt ravenous and could eat an entire pizza. The next word is algorithm. Again, the stress is on the first syllable. An algorithm, you heard this word a lot these days, especially using in social medias, but it's a process or set of rules to be followed. Algorithm. So the app uses an algorithm to predict glucose spikes based on my food intake. The next word is figure out. Figure out. Understand or find a solution to something. You can simply say understand, solve, or decipher. After several attempts, I finally figured out how to assemble the furniture. The next word and the last word of this paragraph is spike. Spike. So spike can be a noun and a verb at the same time, and it means a sudden increase. And in this text, it refers to a sudden increase in glucose level. You know what is glucose, yes? Glucose is something like sugar in our blood or in our body. We call that glucose. Increase, rise, you can use them as synonyms. There was a spike in sales during the holiday season. There was a spike. The sales went high all of a sudden. I just put on a continuous glucose monitor, a device that sticks to your arm and uses a tiny needle to provide near real-time information about how much sugar is circulating in your blood. Not because I have diabetes, the main use for what are called CGMs, but because these devices are starting to be marketed as wellness tools for everybody. And I wanted to see how they work. As you can see, we have continuous glucose monitor, which is the long form for CGM. So CGM is the short form for this device, continuous glucose monitor. This is a device that sticks to your arm and it measures how much sugar is going into your body, it's circulating in your blood, and it measures that sugar, which we call that glucose. And this device is really helpful for diabetic people. And I'm not using this device because I have diabetes, but because this device is going to be very popular these days. So the first word is stick. A stick means to attach to a surface. Stick. So the label sticks well to the jar, ensuring it won't fall off. There are two words in real time and near real time. What's the difference? Well, in real time is showing the data immediately after it's taken, after it's been observed. But near real time shows data after a really short delay. So it's not just immediate data, it's a delayed data. So a grammar note here. Near real time. Near is an adjective, real is an adjective too. How can we use two or more adjectives in just one sentence? Well, actually there is a rule for using one or more adjectives in a one sentence. You should follow a specific order to use different adjectives in just one sentence. First, you have to use the adjectives that cover quantity, then quality, size, age, shape, color, and origin, material, and purpose. So look at this sentence. 3 beautiful large red apples. We have different and many adjectives included in this sentence. 3 beautiful large red apples. 4 adjectives in just one sentence and for describing just a noun, which is apple. So look at the order. We just bring the quantity, how much, 3, then beautiful, quality, then large, which is a size, and then we have the word red, which is a color. So, yes, you can use many adjectives in just one sentence following this order. Next, we have the word circulating, and it means moving or flowing through a system, circulating. Or you can use moving, flowing as synonymous for this word, circulating. The circulating air in the room keeps it cool during summer. Circulating air in the room. Now let's go to the next paragraph. Apple, too sugary. Granola bar, hello, glucose spike. Cheese, that's the ticket. A few days of wearing this monitor had taught me that cheese wouldn't cause my glucose to go up. Is this thing just inadvertently putting you on the keto diet? My husband, who'd witnessed a few episodes of hunger while I was trying to figure out how to please my CGM, finally asked. We have a term here. Hunger is somehow familiar to you, isn't it? Well, hunger is a combination of being angry and hungry. We call these feelings together hunger. So when you're experiencing hunger, when you're experiencing the feeling of hunger mostly caused because of diets, and you feel irritated or angry because you want to eat something sugary, but you can't, we call this feeling hunger. So this is a new term, isn't it? Keto diet is a kind of diet where the amount of carbohydrates intake reduces significantly. So this specific diet is called keto diet. So then we have the phrase, that's the ticket. That's the ticket. That's the ticket means that's the solution. That's it. That's what I wanted. So if you want to relax, a good book and a cup of tea, that's the ticket. Next, we have the word inadvertently, and the stress is on the second syllable, inadvertently. So inadvertently means without intention and accidentally, unintentionally. So you can use all these words as synonymous for inadvertently, accidentally, unintentionally, and unknowingly. She inadvertently deleted the important files from her computer. If you want to watch other news lessons from my channel, you can click on this playlist and watch other videos. So then we have the word keto diet, and the full phrase is ketogenic diet. Many people follow the keto diet to lose weight and improve their health. You follow a diet plan. If you want to start a keto diet, simply say, I'm going keto. It means I'm going on a ketogenic diet. Continuous glucose monitors have been revolutionary for people with type 1 diabetes, for whom glucose levels are life and death, providing information about how much insulin they need to inject to keep their blood sugar stable. The alternative is finger stick testing, pricking finger tips to draw drops of blood to check glucose levels, often multiple times a day. So we have the word revolutionary. Hard word to pronounce, but I'm sure you can do it. Revolutionary. So revolutionary means involving a complete or a dramatic change. You can say transformative or innovative in some cases as a synonym for this word. So the invention of the internet was revolutionary for communications. Life and death means life and death situations are extremely important situations. Life and death. Crucial, vital, essential. The decision to seek medical help was a life and death matter. So we have a life and death situation and we have life and death decisions. So make sure to think carefully before you make life and death decisions. Insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that regulates blood sugar levels. So people with diabetes often need to take insulin to manage their blood sugar. Then we have the word inject. We intake a substance into our body using a needle. That is called inject. Patients must inject insulin daily to control their diabetes. So we inject medication and we inject vaccine. Stable means steady, constant, and secure. So when we want to say that something is really stable, we say stable as a rock. The patient's blood sugar levels remain stable throughout the day. Then we have the word alternative. One of two or more available possibilities. Alternative. Or we can say option, substitute, or choice. A vegetarian diet can be a healthy alternative to a meat-based diet. So the next word was used in the paragraph was finger stick testing. Actually, it's a kind of device that tests your blood sugar level. So a method of obtaining a drop of blood from a fingertip for glucose or blood sugar testing. Then we have the word pricking. To pierce or make a small hole in something. So piercing or puncturing. Pricking the fingertip allows for blood to be collected for testing. So if you make a small hole in your, fingertip for testing your blood sugar, it's called pricking. Pricking. The next paragraph. CGMs are life-changing for insulin-dependent diabetics, said Laura Martin, an attorney and advocate for lower insulin price, who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as a teenager. Before she got a CGM, she said she'd go long periods without checking her glucose levels through finger-stick tests. Instead, adjusting her insulin doses based on how she was feeling, leading to hospitalization with a dangerous condition. Now Marta said she knows her glucose level every 5 minutes with a CGM, and her A1C, another measure of glucose in the blood, is steadily at a much better level. Attorney. Attorney is a person appointed to do your legal works. Or you can say a lawyer. Attorney, a lawyer. You can use lawyer, counselor, legal representative as synonyms for this word. So we have criminal attorney, family attorney, advocate. Advocate is a person who publicly supports something. Supporter, champion, or promoter. He is an advocate for environmental protection. Diagnose. Identifying a disease or condition through examination. She was diagnosed with asthma after a series of tests. When you want to use this word with a medical condition, you usually say diagnosed with. Like my cousin, God forbid, was diagnosed with cancer. Okay? Or he was diagnosed with diabetes. Adjusting. So adjusting means making changes to achieve a desired fit or condition. So you can say modifying. He is adjusting his schedule to accommodate the new job. Hospitalization. The process of being in the hospital for treatment is called hospitalization. Steadily. I say consistently, continuously, or reliably. The patient's health improved steadily after the treatment. I don't have diabetes, but I wore a glucose monitor for 6 weeks. Here's what I learned about food and anxiety. One day in September, I stood in front of my open refrigerator, ravenous but unable to figure out what I should eat. I was worried that whatever I chose to eat would cause the new app on my phone to record a spike in my glucose levels that would count against the number I was allowed that day. And I was determined to conquer this algorithm. I just put on a continuous glucose monitor, a device that sticks to your arm and uses a tiny needle to provide near real-time information about how much sugar is circulating in your blood. Not because I have diabetes, the main use for what are called CGMs, but because these devices are starting to be marketed as wellness tools for everybody. I wanted to see how they work. Apple? Too sugary. Granola bar? Hello, glucose spike. Cheese? That's the ticket. A few days of wearing this monitor had taught me that cheese wouldn't cause my glucose to go up. Is this thing just inadvertently putting you on the keto diet? My husband, who'd witnessed a few episodes of hunger while I was trying to figure out how to please my CGM, finally asked. Continuous glucose monitors have been revolutionary for people with type 1 diabetes. for whom glucose levels are life and death, providing information about how much insulin they need to inject to keep their blood sugar stable. The alternative is fingerstick testing, pricking fingertips to draw drops of blood to check glucose levels, often multiple times a day. CGMs are life-changing for insulin-dependent diabetics, said Laura Martson, an attorney and advocate for lower insulin prices who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as a teenager. Before she got a CGM, she said she'd go long periods without checking her glucose levels through fingerstick tests, instead adjusting her insulin doses based on how she was feeling, leading to hospitalization with a dangerous condition. Now, Martin said, she knows her glucose level every 5 minutes with a CGM, and her A1C, another measure of glucose in the blood, is steadily at a much better level.